I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. May all beings have happiness. Just read the verses. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time. Rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate all the virtues of myself and others to the great light. This ground, anointed with perfume and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and operate. May all sentient beings enjoy the pure land. Edam Guru Rana Mandala Kam Nindriyatayami. Please bless me to seize all deluded minds immediately, from disrespect for gurus to the subtle dualistic conception. Bless me to generate all unmistaken minds instantly, from respect for the gurus to the realization of emptiness. Bless me to completely pacify all outer and inner obstacles. Due to the merit of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all sentient beings without exception into the enlightened state. May the supreme jewel Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Finished chapter 6, right? So now we read chapter 10. Discard the 10 non-virtues and forever stabilize faith. Destroy anger and pride and equip with the mind of humility. Give up wrong livelihood and nourish by the livelihood of Dharma. Okay. So discard the 10 non-virtues. Discard the 10 non-virtues. What are the 10 non-virtues? Physically 3. The 3 physical non-virtues are killing, which means taking others' life, stealing, sexual misconduct. These are 3 physical non-virtues. 4 verbal non-virtues are lying, telling lying, then engaging in divisive talk, dividing people, divisive talk, harsh speech, gossip, chatterbox, gossip. These are 4 verbal non-virtues. Then finally, the 3 mental non-virtues are covetousness, which means wishing to get others' property, others' wealth, covetousness, harmful intention, and wrong view. Harmful intention and wrong view. Okay. So, whether you are a monk or lay person, as we have been discussing, there are so many negative deeds that we should stop, refrain from. So many good deeds, virtuous deeds that we must perform, accumulate. But roughly speaking, it can be more or less contained into this 10. Not doing the 10 non-virtuous actions and doing the 10 virtuous actions. Opposite to this 10, killing. Opposite to killing is non-killing. Opposite to stealing is non-stealing, things like that. Okay, it's easy to understand. So practice the 10 virtues and stop engaging in 10 non-virtues. If you are able to do that, amazing. Even that, we are not talking about many big things, but even that is very, very important. To have a healthy, harmonious, peaceful society, we should refrain from engaging in these 10 non-virtues. So first is killing. Killing. Killing means taking others' life, right from the life of a tiny insect to human beings. For any living sentient being, the most cherished thing in their life is their life. Life is precious to everybody, right? Life is precious to everybody. Everybody tries to protect their life by running around to get food, to have security, things like that. Everybody. Everybody is running for peace. Right from the morning till late in the night, we run, everybody running, insects are running, human beings are running, animals are running, birds are running, everybody running in search of peace, in search of happiness, to protect their life. So therefore, make sure that you don't directly, indirectly engage in killing. In this life, according to Buddhist teaching, in this life, if you take others' life, kill them, next life, the result will be similar. Because this life, you shorten other people, other human beings' life and kill them. Next life, you will have a short life. We do see people who are just some sentient beings or human beings. Some of them just die in womb. Some die just when they're about to crawl. Small babies, short life, post maybe dead. And not only that, for example, a very clear example is if you take some other people's life today, their relatives will revenge and take your life next day. That's happening in the society all the time. You see. Today you maybe have more arms, so you bully and kill everybody randomly. The others will definitely find a way to revenge. That's law of nature. What you give will come back. Good, bad, whatever. You can't escape from that. That's why I respect law of nature so much. I don't talk about Buddha, don't talk about God, but law of nature. You can't go against law of nature. In Buddhism, we call it law of causality. As you sow the seed, you will get the fruits. If you plant a seed of mango, you will get mango, not rice. Law of nature. Right? If you develop negative intention, emotion, you will the first casualty, you will be the first victim. Law of nature is already working, you see. So life is precious to everybody. And especially in Buddhism, we say all sentient beings are our mothers. They have been kind to us directly, indirectly. And especially in today's world, we are all very heavily interconnected, interrelated to each other, right? If you just think about the breakfast that comes on your table, there's different cereals, different fruits, where it comes from. It comes from many, many people. It may have come from a farmer who had perspired and worked in the hot sun. Of course, then in a negative way, we can say, so what, I'm paying. But even if you pay, if people have not worked, you can't eat paper. You can't eat coins. And then you might also say, yeah, I got benefit, but they have no motivation. I told you the other day. You got the benefit, that's it. You don't have to see whether other people are thinking about benefiting you or not. I give you the example of rupee or dollar or gold. They don't have motivation to benefit you. But because you get benefit, therefore you're thankful, you respect the dollar. Right? Like that. And then not only dollar, but this Dharma teaching, this Buddha image. The Buddha image has no motivation to benefit you. It's the image, it's the statue, not the actual Buddha. Then Dharma text. It's not a living being, has no motivation to benefit you. But because it benefits you, you respect it. You put it on your feet. You don't sit on it. Right? So therefore, we should not think about taking others people's life directly, indirectly. Directly, indirectly means you may not have the capacity or courage to directly kill somebody, but you might collude with somebody. You might make a plan to kill somebody. You might give money to kill somebody. There's so many ways. For example, when you send your army at the border to kill and fight other people, you may be contributing there also. You are not at the border, you are not a soldier, but you may be contributing. So all these are a little bit tricky, but very, very important to regard others' life as precious. So don't kill. Don't kill. And don't steal. Second is don't steal. Don't steal means not only taking things quietly without the knowledge of other people. That's what we mean by stealing normally, right? But it includes robbery. For example, right now you're listening to me, so I have some advantage, right? Then I saw one of this person writing and using a nice pen, right? Then if I say, oh, the pen looks so nice. And then if he says, oh, Geshe, please take it. That's also stealing. They're stealing by using your power. So all the wrong livelihood that we discuss about engages into stealing. So stealing basically means taking those things which you have no right whatsoever. Whether you do it forcibly or in a clever way, right? So therefore, contrary to stealing, we should be fond of giving something to other people. Now, whether you're fond of giving something to other people or not is dependent upon how much actually you love other people, respect other people. When you love somebody, you really enjoy giving to your son, to your daughter, to your mother, to your father. You enjoy giving. You see? Enjoy giving. Interestingly, scientifically, it is found that people who give, they are happier than those people who receive. Through scientific investigation, they found this. You see, generally speaking, if I give this watch away, I lose my watch, so I should not be so happy, you know. But it's not so much about what you lose, but it's your mental state. When you really, you know, yes, he needed that. So I give it. I'm so happy. I don't need that. And especially in terms of giving, there are so many things we have stored over the years in your small room or house. If you judge him carefully, you go back and see. There's so many things that you bought and accumulated and stored over the years, many of which are lying there since many years. You have not used it. But still, your stingy mind thinks, one day I may have to use it. That one day will never come. So give it. There are many people who are dying to have that. What you are not using, many people dying to have it. They don't have the means to buy those things. So give it. And if you give it, at least your house will be cleaner. You see? It is my own experience. And sometimes you have a number of shoes. I get a lot of shoes. Because my sister, for the monks, they don't know what to give. So they will normally give shoes and things like that. Okay. Then I give it. I have only 2 feet, you know. I can't wear all these shoes every day. And not necessarily out of stinginess, but some stinginess also, plus laziness and everything, you just store them. And after 4 or 5 days, you just, you know, look at those shoes which you for the years, which you've never used, but the soles will come apart. When it gets old, things get moldy and, you know, all those things. So which is a waste, a big waste. You've not used it, you could not give it to others. Only some years back, I had somebody give me shoes, a little bit high-heel kind of shoes, nice looking shoes. I am not using this. It was not proper to my feet or whatever. I'm not using it, but it looks good shoes. Then I give to one of our library staff. Then he just touched it and the sole came out. So embarrassing. You see? So therefore they say when it comes to giving, don't postpone. Give immediately. Don't postpone. And also when it comes to giving, if possible, don't give it personally. Probably give it through some other person. So that this person who got the gift don't have to remain grateful to somebody. You're not expecting that person to be grateful. You're not expecting by this gift, you're not, you know, trying to humble that person. You know, sometimes it happens, you know. You give some gift, then always you have to say, thank you, thank you. You're humbling some other person. So opposed to stealing. Now there's so much stealing, you know, stealing government property, private property, stealing from the forest, from the minerals. Everybody is stealing. Stealing the copyright, you know, just stealing and stealing and stealing. Unfortunately, we should not do that because it is said that if you steal in this life, next life you will be born as a poor person and have to lead a life of poverty. Similar result. Stealing. So stealing, as I said, is taking things like for example, if I borrow a pen from you, this time not by force, but I just borrow your pen from you. Then I use it 2-3 days ago. And you did not ask me to give the pen back. Then I'll start thinking, probably he has forgotten. So I give it. Stealing. Even when you say you are going to Megalodon and then you found a bundle of money, 10,000 rupees lying on the road. I mean, you just found it, Actually, it looks like that this is really okay for you to enjoy. But without declaring that you found such money, just give it. That is also stealing. Because the owner has not given up, is still hoping to get it back. It actually belongs to that person, not to you. So not good to give it. Not good to give it. Okay? Because as we were discussing, major source of fight, conflict, disagreement, disharmony in the family, in the society is because of attachment to wealth, attachment to wealth. Honestly speaking, how much you want? How much you really want? Tell me, what is the yardstick by which you can say I'm okay? Unless you maintain some sense of contentment from your side, you will never say enough. If your salary is today 5,000, you want more. Then your salary increases 10,000, there's nothing comparing to some other. Then you get 20,000, still nothing. Then you get 30,000, still nothing. You see? So honestly speaking, it is not so much how you earn, but how you live your life. If I'm getting like 30,000 or 40,000, you spend it in a night in 5-star hotel. All money gone one night. Right? So generally speaking, most of us have enough, okay. So we should learn to say enough. Enough. Because when we have this sense of contentment, then all this unnecessary rushing that you need to do will automatically cease and stop. Then you will get an opportunity to engage in many new initiatives, creativity. And you might become a CEO through this new initiative, without running after just 10,000 rupees a month. If you maintain some contentment and use your brain and create something new, you might become CEO of that company. You might become rich within 3-4 months. Possibilities are there. Otherwise, also the meaning of wealthy and rich is contentment. But if you're content, you're rich. If you're not content, you're not rich in the true sense of the term. So in Buddhism, richness means having these inner resources, inner qualities, which we will read later on. For example, if there's somebody, there are many who are highly rich, extremely rich. They drink from golden cup or whatever, it makes a difference in their life. Okay, if somebody comes to me, a highly, highly rich person, comes to me and says, I have a lot of money, I want to give this to you. Then if I say, what is this? I don't need. This is nothing for me. If I say, then this shows he's poor, not me. I'm rich, I'm contented. This means nothing to me. This piece of paper, which you give the designation rupee or dollar, whatever. Right? So contentment, if you're content, you're rich. If you're not content, you're not rich. Just like compare the kings and beggars. The kings, they have whole kingdom, but still hungry. They want to capture another kingdom, another land. Right? And then the beggar has hardly anything, but he's singing and playing. He's completely free. Complete looks, very poor in terms of his food and ragged clothes. It really looks poor. We say poor man, poor man. But he's completely free. He's singing, dancing. When I was studying in the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, there was an Indian beggar. Many beggars, but there was one, Indian beggar. We named him Gabbar Singh. We nicknamed him Gabbar Singh. He also calls himself Gabbar Singh. So one of his leg was broken. So he has to go with a crutch. But always smiling. I never forget. He says, I will say it in Hindi. This is very interesting. He says, ऊपर आकाश नीचे जमीन आगे पीछे हवा और कुछ नहीं मेरे पास मैं तो मस्त है. That's what he used to say. I'm just full of joy because on the top I have sky, down, earth, then before and after fresh air, nothing else. मैं तो मस्त है. I'm full of joy. And then one day he married another, beggar women, young women. He has nothing to give. Then he looked around and plucked one rhododendron flower, tied it on her hair. I mean, looks, very simple but easy. I'm not saying you become beggar, but what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to go to the other extreme, but what I'm saying is, if you don't have contentment, you can never be happy. Never be happy. And then to be successful, prosperous in life, it's not just running after money and making money, but it's also spending money wisely, properly, and not wasting it. You see, right? There are like millions of people. I read this last night. UN food chief who oversees 82 countries, UN food chief, they oversee or operate in 82 countries. He made this announcement last night. Today, 345 million people are facing starvation. 345 million people are facing starvation. 70 million close to starvation because of the war going on and climate, so many other things, you see. So because of this, those of us who have the capacity, number one, we should be contented, we should be happy. At the same time, as much as possible, try to uplift some of these people. Then you are a real human being, then you are a real hero. Okay. Martin Luther King, he said, you all can become great. You all can become famous. He said, because you can all help. I mean, such a great teaching. Because we can all help. If you help others, you are great. It doesn't have to come out in the newspaper headline. You are truly great. Now helping means helping. Whatever. For example, I tell you another small story. Because I have the stage, so I'm talking. You all have you all have this experience. I'm not saying you don't have that experience. But we need to pull these experiences together, how we can make other people happy. I frequently go through Delhi, giving teachings or traveling to other countries and things like that. So one day, I was in New Delhi, then there was this little girl with disabled hair, with this little hand, I feel very sorry or sad or happy when I see these little hands, begging, especially. So she came there, little girl, disabled hair, little hand. I gave 10 rupees. 10 rupees means nothing, right? For me, nothing. For all of us, I think it's nothing, 10 rupees. But then I went on the other side of the road and took a three-wheeler to go to other place. And from the three-wheeler, when I looked on the other side where I met the little girl was still waiting there. And doing like this. She was so happy with 10 rupees. Sometimes you give a nice packet of food, not just, uneatable food, a nice food that you eat in the restaurant. Don't spoil it, take the half, give it to some other people. You get the same response. So many people who are in need. You can easily do that. You can easily do that. And thereby you can easily become good practitioner and great person. A great person, right? So even if you're unable to give, at least don't steal. Then loyal, sexual misconduct. Third is sexual misconduct. In ancient times, wars between two countries or two societies or whatever have been fought in the name of men and women, engaging in sexual misconduct. Today also in the society, so much of the problem is sexual misconduct. Adultery, we call it adultery, which is, not only from a religious point of view, but for social harmony, it is actually not at all good. Today, in the name of being free, people engage in all kinds of things, then transmitting all kinds of diseases, then bringing disharmony, fight, so many things. I think you know better than me. It comes out in the newspaper all the time. The only thing is we need to pay more attention. Sexual misconduct. So you have sex or live with only your married wife. So sexual misconduct means, number one, having sex with those who you have not married. Sexual misconduct also means engaging in wrong parts. This is reading the text. This is not taboo, okay? So that's why I'm mentioning, So if you want to know more detail, you read those texts. It is mentioned there, which is also not good for health and things like that. Sexual misconduct. Okay? So these are the three physical non-virtues. Then the four verbal non-virtues are lying. If you have seen, you say, I have not seen. If you have not seen, you say, I have seen. So lying and cheating other people. Now, unfortunately, in today's society, the more you lie, the more you cheat, then more you think that I'm a clever person. मैंने उसको साले बेवकूफ बना दिया. I fooled him. बोलते हैं ना, साले अपने आप को बहुत होशियार समझ रहा था, मैंने उसको बेवकूफ बना दिया. Yeah. So you fool people. You lie for money or for whatever. So that is also very, very bad, because it is said, if in this life, if you engage in sexual misconduct, then next life you will have husbands, wives who you can never trust, who will cheat you all the time. ऐसा भी है ना, there are so many husbands, wives who just keep on cheating each other all the time. You can't trust them. Then lying, as I said, if you lie this time, then your words will never be trusted, never be respected in the future lives. Not necessarily future lives, in this life also. If people know that you are a liar, nobody will trust you. You know? Lying. When you lie, the words and speeches that you use is not sharp like a blade. It's not sharp like a blade, but it can chop other people's heart into pieces. Lying, gossiping, all those things. There are occasions where you can tell what we call as white lie. White lie means, for example, if a hunter is chasing a deer to shoot and kill, and the deer just ran in front of us, and then after a while the hunter comes and, have you seen the deer? Then you can tell a lie, white lie. to protect the life of that animal, that deer. You can say like this. Oh, I thought something went. I really don't know which direction. I thought something went, but I really didn't pay attention, Or you can even say went into this direction to save the life of that animal. So those kind of white lies are basically permissible to help other people, right? But the black lies, no. Okay. Your beautiful tongue is not for lying. Don't make your tongue dirty. It's not only said in Buddhism, but we have this English saying which says a tongue, which may be 5, 6 inches long, can fail a person 5, 6 feet tall. Tongue is very short, few inches, right? But if you tell lie or use harsh speech, it can destroy that person. Then the next is divisive talk. We also do this all the time. You go to some other people and praise that person and say all the bad things about that person. उसके साथ आप बिल्कुल नहीं जाना. वो तो बदमाश number one है, Don't go with this person. He's really crooked, Things like that. You go here and say something, go there and say something. You divide people. And that is now unfortunately done on a national level. There are people who are so-called experts whose job is to divide the two countries, bring disharmony. The international politics, it is happening, unfortunately. Okay, so divide, especially dividing the Sangha members. If the two groups of monasteries or ashrams, if you create a division among them, disharmony among them, that's very sinful. Because a practitioner's job is to bring harmony in accordance with the law of nature, not to bring disharmony. Right? Then, harsh speech. So harsh speech, I already more or less explained, Your word is not sharp like a blade, but it can chop other people's heart into pieces by using harsh speech. For example, saying, are you blind? For those people who are not blind, if you say, are you blind? Can't you see? That's very harsh. And if somebody is already blind, and on top of that, you say, you're blind, there's like trembling on a person who is already falling. You see? So highlighting somebody's physical disabilities is very hurtful, very hurtful. So your speech, if possible, should be like honey, sweet. If not possible, at least like a flower. But it should not be like a shit. Right? Yeah. Okay. Do your stretching exercise. Okay. Just by using your speech nicely, you can make the day of a person. It happened with me also many times. Sometimes you are completely oblivious. You meet a stranger, that stranger is looking for something, asking some question. Then you receive that person, speak nicely, whatever necessary guidance is to be given, you give it, They remember it. It benefits them. They feel very happy, मुझे बहुत अच्छा मिल गया. I met really nice person, things like that. Right? So don't just judge people when you see somebody, or maybe this is from that country, or maybe this is from that country, or maybe he's not so nice. Oh, not like that. Right? For example, with our encounter, I can have different attitudes, positive attitudes, negative attitudes. If I develop a positive attitude, I can immediately develop respect for you. And all these people, they are good people. So that's why I say that when I speak to you, when I try to teach you, I don't feel so comfortable. Because you don't need much teaching. You're already good people. The troublemakers are not here, I'm sure. Already good. So therefore, there's a lot of reason for me to respect. I don't have to sit with you and explore your history and discuss each and every detail. You know, just by the behavior, I can come to some conclusion that you already good people. Wanted to do something good. So you already have that knowledge, lot of goodness. So I can develop that respect. And I can see myself fortunate to be able to meet so many good people. Thanks to Tushita. Otherwise, I have no idea who's coming, who's going. So it's up to your ways of seeing things. If you see things in a positive light, you can see everything in a positive light. If you see things in a bad light, you can see everything in a negative situation. So much is in your head. So not use harsh speech. Then gossip. We take gossip very lightly. We gossip all the time. Much of the time is wasted in gossiping. Gossiping about other people, mostly about people who you know. You say, I know, yeah, I know, he's like this, he's like that. So gossip for a practitioner, when you engage in gossiping or idle chatter, you waste a lot of time. You're not a narrator for the life of other people, right? Your job and your business is to take care of yourself, your practice, not to talk too much about other people, right? So gossiping also, like in this discussion, I'm just reading a few verses, but the descriptions, they engage in discussion. Then Atisha just gives a beautiful explanation. And then gradually, Domtompa in the beginning tries to corner him. If you're saying this, then what about this? You're saying this, what about this? He debates. Then Atisha gives very beautiful explanation. Then Domtompa really get impresses. You are the one. You are the really great teacher, you see. Giving such a good teaching. He says, what are you saying? I never engage in gossiping. I always say good things. You see? I never engage in gossiping. I always say good things. Don't get shocked. Don't get surprised. Yes, yes. So this beautiful mouth and beautiful tongue is for saying good things, cheering up others, lifting up the spirit of others, not discouraging them, not pulling their legs. See? And you have that capacity. So don't engage in gossiping. So these are the 4 verbal non-virtues. Then covetousness. Covetousness means wishing that I have what she has. It's a little bit like jealousy. When you see your neighbor buying a new car, you feel unhappy. I should also have a car like this. Your neighbor comes up with a swimming pool, you feel restless. Oh, I should also have a swimming pool. You may or may not have that capacity to own those things, but you simply covet. Oh, nice, if I also have like this. So this is very disturbing. Just by wishing that you also have like this, things will not come to you. right? So this is a kind of jealousy, a little bit like jealousy, which is not at all good. Because then your life will be miserable because there's so many things that's there outside and you don't have all those things. If you have iPhone 1, you need a 2, you need a 3, you need a 4, you need a 5, 6, 7, now 14. There's no limit. People are very good in fooling you. Oh, iPhone 14 has many features better than the 13. And sometimes the one who uses the mobile phone don't even know how to use the mobile phone. There are so many apps which you can't use, like me. I only use it for making a call, you see. There's so many other good things you can't use. So what is the fun of? And there are others who don't even have the means to have it, but they're trying to have it. I wish I have mobile phone 13 or 14. See, mobile phone 14. Sorry, I'm not getting nervous, okay? I thought I put it on a silent mode. I'm not going to talk to you right now. Okay. This is not number, not 14. Okay. This is iPhone. Not 14. Not even 13. Not even 12. Not even. You know. So what I was saying was they were very good in updating the external material things, but not good in updating oneself. Get yourself updated. When was the last time when you updated yourself? When was the last time when you recharged yourself? So don't just keep on updating the mobile phone, you know, your material wealth and things like that, but update yourself. Update yourself means have more compassion, have more love, have more patience, have more integrity. You need to use some of the modern nice terms. People are they're very fond of using, you know, what they call as trademark things, right? Trademark. If you have a shirt, then you say, this is made from this. This is trademark. This is made from such a big company. You may be paying like 5, 10 times more than almost like similar shirt, but because they're so-called trademark, you buy that one, paying a lot of money, right? Right? So I'm telling I'm telling people these days that all these qualities that we are talking about, compassion, love, patience, these are all trademark qualities made by the Buddha company. The source is so really trademark. So if you want to enjoy trademark things, develop this inner qualities. So covetousness is not good. If other people are having many things, don't get jealous. Especially if they are having these things through proper ways. When I use word proper way, there are many people who become rich through improper ways, by bribe, by corruption. So I'm not talking about this. Okay. So rejoice if people are good, rich. At least if you're happy, wonderful, good. But don't get jealous. Don't develop covetousness. Then the next mental number 2 is harmful intention, the wish to harm others. You may or may not be able to harm, but you have this wish. You may have this wish to harm others. That's my point. When you develop any of these negative emotions, like wish to kill, wish to steal, anger, jealousy, hatred, when you develop these negative emotions, what you need to realize is you will become the first victim, right? Normally, when we get angry, we think, oh, okay, by getting angry, I'm doing something for the enemy. Like, for example, I would not say Chinese are our enemy, I'm Tibetan, okay? But the Chinese leaders, let us say they are my enemy because they killed over 1 million Tibetans. Still they are mistreating them, exploiting them. Okay? They took all our country, right? So now I'm here in a free country. Now if I get very angry towards the Chinese leaders, and I try to use this platform to get your support, then I recount all the atrocities that they've committed, and then you also develop some sympathy. Then I get angry, you also get angry. Then we bang the table in this Tushita nice hall. If we get all angry, we are the first victim. We are suffering already because of this anger, hatred. We are suffering here. The Chinese leaders will not even know what is happening here. Sometimes they are very good in knowing everything, but I don't like that. Right? They may be watching a movie, sipping nice cup of tea, moving in a Mercedes car, I'm not necessarily happy. But what I'm saying is these negative emotions that we develop here will not harm them. It will harm you. If you get angry repeatedly, your life is shortened. If you are hot-tempered and angry, you might kill your wife, you might beat your children, you might do rash driving and have a car accident. In countries like America, I have a book, whole book where it says America loses billions of dollars in a year because of anger, because of rash driving, shooting. Even in terms of financial losses, you see. This negative emotions will really destroy and wreck the country. And conversely, look at the Tibetan people in exile. Because we have such an amazing leader like His Holiness, who talks about love, who talks about compassion, who talks about negotiation, dialogue. He talks about living in harmony with China. We are getting so much benefit. Chinese people are getting so much benefit, you see. Right? That is the process. We need to regard everybody as human beings. We all make mistakes. But the way to solve that is not through hatred and enmity, but through discussion, dialogue, friendship. That's the human way. Not solving things through gun, through killing. Right? So harmful intention itself is not going to kill your enemy. You will suffer. So at least don't develop these negative emotions, which are self-torturing. Then wrong view. The last is wrong view. Wrong view is the most severe of all the 10 non-virtues. Because wrong view means, just as we the other day discussed about ignorance, which is the root cause of all things. So wrong view means misconception of the reality. If you say there is no Buddha because I have not seen him, if you say there is no other spirit because I have not seen them, and if there is the cause effect, the karma relationships are false, it doesn't work. If you do good things, the result will be good. There's no guarantee. it's easy to develop all these wrong views. So with these wrong views, you don't respect higher beings, you don't respect other spirits, things like that. If you ignore completely the unseen world, then the very root of your virtuous practices are annihilated, are destroyed with the wrong view. Right? Other and other are to be killed. So what? And you can come with all wrong views. We can eat human flesh. Why not? You can come with all wrong views. Since you can eat the flesh of other animals, why not human beings? You can come with all wrong views, so many wrong views. Against your parents also you can have wrong view by saying I'm suffering because of my wrong view. There's somebody who said this. I'm very angry towards my parents because they brought me, they produced me in this world. Now I'm suffering so much. You see? So if you go in the wrong way, you can develop countless wrong views, which will lead to your destruction and disharmony in the society. So it's important to see everything in a realistic, positive manner. Right? So this is briefly speaking about the 10 non-virtues, and the opposite are 10 virtues. Helping other peoples to prolong their life by giving them medicine, by giving them food, by giving them protection and shelter. Things like that. As opposite to killing. As opposite to killing, opposite to stealing, giving things to others, offering things to others. As opposite to sexual misconduct, being faithful in your relationship, and then not telling lie, not engaging in divisive talk, not engaging in gossiping, abandoning them, and not engaging in covetousness, and not developing harmful intention, not developing wrong view, opposite practice, 10 virtuous actions. So these things I briefly explained, but you need to read a little bit more, not use your common sense. And the important thing is we need to, as much as possible, practice them. Practice them. If you go to a restaurant, read the menu, the long menu, menu of momo and chocho and chomin and all this delicious looking food. Read and read and probably memorize the menu also, but don't eat. There's no use. You will remain hungry, right? So reading the scripture and understanding that little bit is one thing, but the most important thing is practice. This is the most difficult part. Practice. Live the talk. Live the talk. Okay? And then why we are talking about this? These 10 non-virtuous actions. Because he says, certain beings are generally, the followers are generally not very clever. They can't receive a massive teaching right in the beginning. So we'll just give a rough teaching. Because if you talk about too many things, they will be confused. So this is a rough teaching, a gross teaching. So therefore, keep these things in your mind and don't get angry. And destroy anger and pride. We discussed about this a little bit. Anger and pride. Anger. There's nobody who says, today I was very angry, so I really enjoyed the day. Is there anybody who enjoys by getting angry? Probably there's nobody who says, I enjoyed the day because I was angry. And also there's nobody who right in the morning makes a motivation to get angry. आज मैं जरूर गुस्सा हो जाऊंगा, ऐसा कोई नहीं. But in the course of the day, you meet some strange people, you encounter difficult situations that you get angry, right? Then in the end of the day, go back home and review your day's life and realize that you got angry. Again, there, as I said, there's nobody who says, I was angry, I fought with somebody, I really enjoyed the day. There's nobody. So we don't have to just read the Buddhist teaching. You know, with anger, you do research on anger, how beneficial it is or harmful it is, right? Then develop conviction. For example, when you get angry, the first thing anger does is it makes you ugly. You want to become ugly? Man or woman, you want to become ugly? No, nobody wants to become ugly. That's why we use all those cosmetics and we are nice glasses and comb the hair, you know. You get ugly. So remember this, don't get angry, you'll get ugly. Even if you're decorated with gold ornaments, whatever, once you get angry, you know, with gold ornament like this, your face becomes red, wrinkles appear on your forehead, and it shortens your life. Blood pressure increases. I'm not making it up, it is true. You become hot, that means blood pressure is increasing. And the worst thing is, the most important quality of human being, the capacity to judge between what is right and what is wrong, is lost at that time. You have actually become a mad person, mad person. What is the definition of a mad person? Pagam, mad person. Mad person is somebody who is not at all aware of what he is saying, what he's doing. He's just yelling and shouting and kicking and throwing everything down, breaking everything. Watch a movie, it is there. Watch somebody fighting, it is there. He has no idea what he or she is doing. Pagalpan. And what the world is doing is a little bit like madness, insanity. You become insane. So the best part of human brain, the capacity to judge, is lost at that time. You become mad. So the question is, you want to become mad? So next time you go out of Tushita and somebody asks you, what did you do? You can say, I become sane. I give up my madness. It's a big development. Big development. Much of the problem that we are experiencing to this world is human insanity, human madness. So anger will destroy your wealth, your health, your peace of mind, everything. When you are angry, you can't sleep on a very soft bed. Very costly soft, nice bed may be there, but you're angry, you can't sleep. You just keep on changing your side the whole day, thinking about how to revenge that person, thinking about this harsh word used by other person, you know. Then next morning your day's work is also spoiled. And day after day you do this, then your physical health will get wrecked. You lose your appetite, you lose your sleep, you lose your peace of mind. Right? So smile more. Smile more. His Holiness the Dalai Lama was saying the other day, be calm and smile more. Don't always, bring a gloomy face. Not like this. Little bit smile. Right? Anger. Anger makes you blind. Right? So you can read more about anger. Destroy anger. The only good thing that you get when you get angry is you get some added energy, some boldness. But for example, if somebody has been bullying you for a long time, but when you get angry, you get this special energy or boldness by which you're able to do something, say something. Because of that, you think anger is necessary. Yes, it is true, you got some energy, but that extra energy you got is blind energy. It's blind energy, so it is totally unsure whether it will hit the target or not. That energy is madness, so it will not be useful. You can be much more forceful, much more tougher without getting angry. You can challenge if somebody has done just injustice to you. If you get angry, you will not be able to say the right thing. Probably you fight with that person physically, and you will end up in problem. So instead of getting angry, you remain calm and say all the things that is right to say. It will be very powerful, very peaceful. Just like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, it's very peaceful, genuinely honest, not just he's playing politics, he's genuinely honest, sincerely saying that China and Tibet can live together, although past separate country. But he said, the world is changing. When he said, let us not talk about the past. Past is history. Leave it to the historians. Let us talk about the future. The whole world is talking about globalization. Look at France and Germany. They used to be sworn enemy, ready to cut each other's throat. But today, European Union. It's amazing, working together. Look at all these Eastern European countries, Hungary, Poland, all those things, part of Soviet Russia. Now they are independent, working for peace and things like that. That's the right way. That's the right way. So future, have dialogue, negotiation. Tibetans can live in association with China, provided we give genuine freedom for preserving and promoting Tibetan culture, Tibetan identity. So with this stance, with this honest proposal, the world is basically supporting. I mean, again, of course, not militarily. You also have to think about your business. Mostly people think about business, but still there is support. There is support. For example, during recently the meeting of Prime Minister Modi ji and Putin, India and Russia had very good relationship in the past. So of course they treated each other friends. But Prime Minister Modi said, this is not time for war. This is time for peace. I was very happy with that statement. As a friend, you need to tell the right thing. How much they will implement, I don't know. But at least Prime Minister Modi just said it. You see? Right? So therefore, what I'm saying is, qualities like non-violence and compassion, they are actually the most powerful weapon. These are not something only weak people can use. Weak people can't use non-violence, can't use compassion. Only strong people. But take the example of Mahatma Gandhi, carrying that lathi and wearing this thin khadi cloth, very simple looking, drove away the British Raj, at that time. Because of complete, and faithfully obeying, sticking to non-violence. So for non-violence, for compassion, we need education, knowledge, integrity. So don't see these signs as signs of weakness. These inner qualities are not sign of weakness. They are sign of strength, genuine sign of strength. For example, if two people, when they have an issue among them, the one who is on the right track will normally remain more calm because he has many reasons to say, reasons to explain. The one who runs out of reason will resort to violence because he has nothing to defend, nothing to say. Then the only thing is use weapon, use stick, use stone. You see. right? So therefore, it's very important for us to regard these inner qualities as the most important qualities that human beings can have. Okay. Destroy anger and pride. Pride, pride goeth before a fall. When you're proud, you can't see the reality. Negative pride. Somebody give a very beautiful example by saying, arrogance for negative pride and arrogance and big stomach and negative arrogance and pride, they're similar. These two are similar. Because you have a big stomach, you can't actually hug other person. The big stomach comes in the way. So similarly, when you have big arrogance and as negative pride, you can't actually embrace and hug other people, shake hand with other people. Right? The other day we discussed about the importance of humility. Humility gives you the opportunity for developing many qualities. As opposed to this, arrogance obstructs the way. So if you want to get all the good qualities, number one thing that you need to do is you need to be humble and receptive. Listen to others. Nature has given us only one mouth, 2 ears, two eyes, right? So 2 eyes means see more. 2 ears means listen more. Speak a little bit less. One mouth. But we do the opposite. We keep on talking, never listen to other people. If you keep on talking, you will be talking only the things that you know, just as I'm doing right now. If I listen, then I can learn many things from other people. If you look at nature also, it's like that. Speak a little bit less, listen more. Right? So pride. So, as I already mentioned, and it could be the mind of humility, I already explained. Give up wrong livelihood. Also, I will explain. Wrong livelihood means if you get something through flattery. Normally, when we start, हम लोग हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना चमचागिरी मत करो बोलते हैं ना. When you flatter somebody, when you need something, if you flatter, oh, you are so educated, you are so kind, you are so clever. Aim is to get something from that person. Then if you get something, that is a wrong livelihood. Then the second is hinting. You would not ask to get something directly, but you hint. If you say, I don't have mobile, iPhone 14, but iPhone 14 really looks good, but I don't have the money to buy it, So you're hinting, hoping that somebody will give you that iPhone 14. And through that, if you get it, there is wrong livelihood. When the third wrong livelihood is, in order to get a bigger thing, you give a smaller thing. You give that person 10 rupees so that you can get 100. You invite somebody for a lunch so that he will be your sponsor, bigger sponsor in the future. That's a ploy that we use all the time. And then taking by force, as I already mentioned, taking by force, because you are at an advantaged position, so therefore you take by force. Wrong livelihood. So there are so many ways of getting things through. Then of course, corruption, bribery, all this. Because there are now many countries in the world, the country really doesn't make much progress because of corruption, bribery, corruption. And the system gets so corrupted that there's no way to have any work done without engaging in bribery and corruption, which is really, really unfortunate. Right? चोर बोलते हैं ना, चोर इसको. I already discussed. Give up wrong livelihood, and nourished by the livelihood of Dharma. Nourished by the livelihood of Dharma. I have been discussing about the importance of developing these inner resources. If you really develop these inner resources, your physical, not only your mental health, when your mental health becomes good, your physical health also becomes good. Nourish, strengthen yourself with Dharma. Dharma. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, the company you go with, all this is dependent upon your decision, your choice made by the mind. If you make the right choice, you will hardly, get sick. I'm telling you. You will hardly get sick if you do the right thing. Eat the right food, right amount of food, at the right time. I mean, if you look at this body is really, really amazing. Nature has made this body so amazing, because this body has capacity to heal itself. I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier also. The body has capacity to heal itself. The other day, yesterday, I mentioned, the brain's capacity, right, to pick up the right thing. So similarly, the whole body, look at the immune system, things like that. The whole capacity has a big capacity to heal itself, provided if you understand that and respect it and don't intervene in its natural world with all kind of unnatural food, unnatural medicine, unnatural, habits. Even the so-called medicine, you have to be very, very careful. Medicine is a big, big business. And especially in countries where there's not much rule and regulation, I can't imagine what kind of medicine you are popping. Not good. Right? So, especially in these days, the most important thing is don't get sick. If you get sick, you will be in the hand of so-called doctor or nurse. I'm not saying all of them are bad. There are many, many good doctors, nurses, but there are many who are doing business. They will not hesitate playing with your body, your money. Right? So the most important thing is not get sick. How can we do this? We can do this. If you observe a little bit of discipline, sleep at the right time, sleeping. Don't stay, late in the night like an owl, Take rest, take good sleep, do good exercise. Your body needs, rolling stone gathers no moss, as we say. If there is a stone which keeps on rolling, it will not get moss. And look at the planet, they are all rolling, moving. So we also have to move. Human beings also have to be active, do exercise, yoga, whatever. Yoga also, there are 100,000 things, be careful. But anyway, we need to do simple exercise of moving, things like that. Very important for our body, because if you look at our origin, when we were kind of animals, we used to be very active, hunting for food, other things, always moving. Now today, you're spending most of your time on this, what they call as killing chair. Sitting on that chair and looking at that screen the whole day, almost the whole day. So I tell my staff in the library, at least after 1 hour, or possibly after 30 minutes, at least get up. Do a little bit of exercise, or at least get up. That itself will be very useful for your physical health, mental health, right? So we are talking about the preciousness of Dharma, preciousness of human life. If this is so precious, why don't you take care of it? If you really want to do Dharma practice, if you really want to have a happy life, the most important thing is taking care of your health. Right? If you're healthy, you can do so many things. If you're not healthy, you will not be able to do anything. So in that area, I like what Lenin said. Lenin, the communist leader, Lenin ordered that all the Russians should do exercise. And he said all the Russians should do exercise because we need strong, healthy Russian citizens. If your country is full of citizens whose one eye is not very clear, who has a crooked back, whose one leg is limping, if your country is full of this kind of people, how can that country be strong? That's what he said. At least as a result of that, Russians are very good gymnasts, So that is true for our practice also. How can you undertake this very important, rigorous Dharma practice if you're physically not well? Okay? So that's the meaning of nourishing yourself with the livelihood of Dharma, not through the wrong livelihood. And then we missed one line. Discard the 10 non-virtues and forever stabilize faith. Faith means faith in the 10 virtues practices. Because he says, stop the non-virtues, 10 non-virtuous actions, and always have faith in the opposite of these 10 non-virtuous actions. That is the 10 virtuous actions. Okay. But at the same time, you engage in all this practice of 10 virtuous actions without seeing them as having inherent existence. So this completes the 7th chapter, which is talking about how to eliminate the 10 non-virtuous actions. Next, give up all material objects and adorn by the wealth of the excellent. Give up all material objects and instead adorn yourself with the wealth of the Aryas, wealth of the excelled beings. Aryas are people who have actualized emptiness directly, who have transcended the samsara. Not completely removed samsara, but they have kind of transcended the samsara. So, give up all material objects. In other words, in Tibetan, we use the word sangzing. For material object, we call it sangzing. Sangzing means that which will lead you into commotion. सब गड़बड़ जो उत्पन्न करता है, गड़बड़ी उत्पन्न करता है, उसको बोलते हैं sangzing. It is wealth which brings up all this turmoil, disharmony, fighting, basic in number. In the name of money and wealth, we do all this kind of unfortunate things in the world. So therefore, what he's saying is not true. When he says give up all material objects, he's basically saying, he's not saying that you just give up everything. But what he's saying is give up grasping and craving, obsession with the material objects. Give up obsession with the material objects. You can use material objects only for your survival, but don't get obsessed with that. Because this material wealth, they don't really have much substance, they don't have much essence. Because there will be too much fluctuation in the wealth. Whether it's the world economy or your own state of your own wealth, there will be too much fluctuation. So at one point you may be rich, next point you may be poor. And all this process of profiteering, selling your commodity and getting others' property, with the investment and things like that, you call it, that makes you extremely busy. So in this process of selling and buying, you become extremely busy. Why you become very busy? Because you think by getting this money, getting this company, getting this business, you will be happy. So it is basically this desire, attachment, which makes you run. It is this desire, attachment, which makes you run. But it will be very difficult to have you completely satisfied by this running. I met a number of people working in company, when I give this 1 week or 5 days teaching in Delhi, New Delhi, then during that time we also have not only teaching, but we also have a consultation period. So during the consultation period, number of people come asking questions. Then I remember those people who in the beginning had fairly good business. Now because the owner is becoming old and people working under him take advantage of that. And then the person doesn't know how to handle, what to do, you see. And sees the lack of substance or meaning of such property. So that is it, you see. Because accumulating wealth is like carrying a load, carrying a big load. The heavier the load, the more problem will be there. If you have less, it will be much easier. Nagarjuna gives this beautiful example in his letter to the friend by saying that there are two groups of Nagas, the ordinary Naga and the King Naga. The King Naga has that big hood with the 7 or 5 heads, snakes. Naga basically means snake here in this case. So the King Naga, behind Nagarjuna, you can see this Naga with 5 snake heads. Then ordinary Nagas or snakes have only 1 head. Right? So at a superficial glance, the King Naga looks really good, looks ferocious and majestic with 5 heads. But the more head you have, the more you are susceptible to problem. Out of the 5 head, this head is okay today, this head is hurt. This head is okay, but the middle head is hurt, you see. So similarly, if you are somebody who has like 10 sisters and 10 brothers, for temporary display, it is good. I am very big family. I belong to big family, 10 sisters, 10 brothers. And on certain festivals, you can take all your sisters, brothers, it look nice. Oh, what a big family. But then today, brother is okay, sister is not okay. So there's no guarantee that you have more and you will be happier. In fact, there's nothing that comes value free. So you need to understand this. And instead, there will be more suffering. You might get bankrupt. Your workers might steal from your property. So the problem will multiply like a conflagration of fire. So right in the beginning, it's sure, make sure that you douse the fire when it is at the level of a spark, so that it does not become a forest fire. So in all this kind of negative emotions, you need to be very careful right in the beginning. And this material wealth, in a way, is really like a poisonous flower. Poisonous flower. If you look at these poisonous flowers, it's interesting, I may be wrong. Most of the flowers that is born with these poisonous plants, the flowers are particularly pretty. And people, because it's particularly pretty, people go for the flower, then get poisoned. So anything that is really pretty, really inviting, be careful. Be careful. The wealth is like that, like a poisonous flower. The innocent child will go and pick up that flower and get poisoned and loses his or her life. These material objects are like salty water. Salty water. The more you drink, the more you get thirsty. As I said this morning, you know, if you have 10,000, you want 20,000, 20,000, 30,000, 30,000, 40,000. So it's like a third, salty water. The more you drink, the more you get thirsty. These material objects are like, what do you call it? Mange. The skin disease. Mange, na? Skin disease. Rash, skin rashes. When you get this skin mange or skin rashes, if you scratch it, it gives you some pleasure, temporary, momentary pleasure. But the more you scratch it, the more it will become worse. Okay. So instead of those ordinary wealth, we should get, now remember this very clearly, we should get this wealth of the excellent beings, the Aryas. Here he speaks about 7 wealth. The first wealth is faith, about which we already discussed. Faith towards supreme objects of refuge, the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. This is one wealth of the superior beings. Because it is the faith which is precursor to enlightenment. Second wealth is morality, where you have this wish to abandon negative deeds and acquire positive deeds. All these huge trees of virtuous practices, they grow on the ground like morality. Lessen your personal desire and work more for the benefit of other sentient beings, and strive in getting rid of the 10 non-virtuous actions. Restrain all the negative deeds. And this is the wealth of morality. Give up external and internal belongings. So the third is the wealth of giving, the wealth of generosity. The wealth of generosity. There is a teaching which says, I'm not going to speak about the benefits of giving, but I will speak about the disadvantages of holding. Disadvantages of hoarding, The black marketeers, they do so much hoarding. In your case also, if you hoard everything like a rat, the rats go and steal and put everything in the hole. So one of the great precious wealth of the superior beings is giving your body, giving your wealth, giving your religious practices. Giving your body means use your body in serving others. The next wealth of the superior being is listening, hearing the teaching, listening to the teaching, reading the teaching text, listening. It is by listening you will be able to remove the darkness of ignorance. Listening is such a wonderful thing that whatever you obtain through listening, no thieves can steal it, no robbers can rob it. It's by listening you know the Dharma. It is by listening you can abstain yourself from negative deeds. It is by listening you will stop engaging in all meaningless activities. Okay? There are many, many advantages of listening. If you don't listen, you can't meditate because you don't know what to meditate. Trying to meditate without listening is like a person without hand trying to do rock climbing. So listening, gaining knowledge is another very important, because it is listening that you prepare this ground to gradually actualize Buddhahood. The next wealth is having sense of shame. Having sense of shame. So put on that cloth of shame. Shame means taking oneself an example. You can say, I can't do this because I'm an Indian. I can't do this because I'm a Buddhist. I can't do this, I'm a monk. Yeah. So with this example, putting yourself as example, you can't engage in destructive negative deeds. That is called having a sense of shame. That's one wealth. Then the next is, there's no proper English translation. Opposite to this, opposite or different from this sense of shame, the next is sense of concern for others. Concern for others means, if I do this, I will be disgracing my parents, or things like that. The first, with the shame, I can't do this because I'm Buddhist, because I'm this. The second one is, you don't do negative deeds because of respect for others. If I do this, my teacher will be unhappy, my parents will be embarrassed, things like that. Nagarjuna, in his text, famous text called Precious Garland, he says, the world is sustained by two things: having a sense of shame and having sense of concern for others. If these two are there, the world can go smoothly. If there is no shame, no sense of concern for others, then the world is in big problem. So therefore, cherish these 7 wealth of a superior being. So this internal wealth is good for you for a long run. We talk so much about sustainability, so this wealth, they are really sustainable. Temporarily, you will be respected by everybody if you have this wealth. Okay, this completes chapter 8. Okay, some questions? We have another 15 minutes. Some questions? Yes.
2 questions. They're not related to this teacher, but Buddhism. The first one, as I understand from the books I read, there's a big, it's very important, the connection between a teacher and the student, or the competition. And I read that it's like a very strong connection. So how does it not become an attachment between the student to the teacher?
Yes. The teacher-student relationship is very important. It's also important to have a good teacher. Therefore, I already mentioned that it's very important to find a good teacher. Not rush. Don't rush. Take time. And not only run up to somebody because he's good in telling things, but also look at his kindness, his integrity. Okay? But at the same time, one thing is, you will not get Buddha as your teacher these days, okay? You won't find a person who is, at least especially from your purview, 100% perfect. Don't expect perfect. So 10 qualities of a teacher is mentioned normally if you're looking for a teacher. I don't want to talk about all the 10, but out of the 10, 3 things are very important. The first is the teacher, first and most important thing is the teacher should be compassionate. If he is compassionate, he will not exploit you or misguide you. The second, he should be learned. He should be knowledgeable. Otherwise, he can't teach, right? That is common sense. Third, he should be ready to help you. He's not tired, get angry, when you go to him, ask different questions, Of course, there are times he's also human being, he may get tired, but I'm not saying in that sense, but he's basically ready to help you. These 3 look for such a teacher. Okay. Then, very good question. Even in ordinary relationships, I have already mentioned that there should not be attachment, or at least less attachment, but more unconditional love. So with the teacher also same, with the Buddha also same. If you develop attachment to Buddha, that is attachment. We are not saying if you have attachment to women, it's wrong. Have attachment to the Buddha, it's good. No, attachment is attachment. If you develop attachment, then you will become fanatic. Buddha is the only person that's good in the world. Other religions, other teachers are bad. You get obsessed. So with your teacher also, have respect. Have this, compassion, whatever, but don't get obsessed. Okay. Yeah.
Which different bodhisattva and bodhicitta?
Bodhisattva is person. Bodhicitta is the mind that the person develops. Yes.
Yesterday morning, I and some driver from the club garage decided to blow his car horn for 2 minutes. Okay, and I couldn't find compassion for him. My question is, how from the beginning I don't plant those seeds of anger inside me? Living things of life in life.
Yeah, because it is natural human reaction, Despite you wanting to do many good things, you will sleep and continue to express your old habit. It's natural. But then you need to realize that this is not useful thing again and again. Then gradually you will change. I mean, this honking for 1 or 2 minutes is nothing comparing to what I was told, this loudspeaker, playing in the night. Right? This honking is nothing. So even in this case, we need to solve the problem peacefully. One is you can't control everybody right away. There may be some ways to request and things like that. But the most important thing is sometimes the sound looks bigger because we are paying more attention to it. So pay attention to what you're doing and try to pay less attention. Maybe close your window properly, whatever, things like that. Right? Because it is the real life history. If you want to silence the whole world outside and make them dance at your tune, you will never be able to do that. So again, you need to do those things at least which you can do. That's important. Yeah.
I have a question about chase. You talk about chasing career and stuff. So let's say I feel there is a job that will help me fulfill my potential in some way or help me do good. And to do that, I need to work a lot. I need to be very busy the next month. Is it okay? When does it become too much? Like how to know if I'm getting out of balance or something?
That you should be the best judge. I'm not saying that we should all become monk, go into the mountain, working in the society is bad. I'm not saying that at all. Of course we have to work with the society. You need to pursue a career, make new initiatives or things like that. So, but that should be balanced as much as possible. Work hard, of course, work hard, but also make sure you get rest. Your mind is peaceful, your body is okay. And especially remember this, the time to take rest is when you have no time to take rest. Okay? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to share that I feel little restless and disturbed when I hear the statements with the don't in the beginning. So when I hear the statement with don't in the beginning, statements like, don't get angry or don't be arrogant, right? Or don't be that. So because they sound like moral lessons
Of course.
more, and saying like if you do this and you are bad, then you are this, it seems like a judgmental conversation. And if you do this, you will face these consequences, right? So, but my question is, in the mind, it doesn't work like that, because often it is very impulsive and it comes out of with some history, with some past experiences, with some kind of maybe anything that has been in the past, and not finding an expression for this or suppressing it or brushing it aside. I mean, my question is that a healthy way to find an answer for that, healthy way to let it out, healthy way to experience it, or basically like, because when we say let's say I'm getting angry and I tell myself don't get angry, it does not solve that problem of anger at the core. Maybe for that moment I may not get angry, but at the core and not process the anger.
Yeah. So you need to see the context. Right now here, when I say don't get angry, I'm not saying this to a group of people who are already angry. Are you all angry today? No. So I'm giving this advice. I mean, the teacher is giving advice in general. In general, don't get angry. Then it depends on the individual situation, how to calm that anger. For some people, don't get angry, just like kind parents say, don't get angry. That works. In some cases, don't just say, don't get angry. You use what is happening. You ask questions, what is happening? Can I help you? Things like that. You see. So there are different techniques, different ways when it comes to dealing with individual person. But this is general teaching that I'm giving. In general, of course, the Buddhas and others can say, don't get angry because we are not saying if you get angry, you are bad. We are not saying that. This is not what it means. It is saying it's not good for you. Don't get angry, it's not good for you. Don't develop too much attachment, it's not good for you. But then having said that, if you really think, okay, anger is good, go ahead. Attachment is good, go ahead. Nobody can stop it. This is just a suggestion.
Yeah, I get this part.
Yeah.
My question is, for that moment, how do we process that?
That's the real question. That's your real question. That's the real question. That's what basically what we already discussed. Because all this anger, jealousy, hatred, this comes because of long habituation with that past history, as you mentioned. The background. They are with all of us. We are habituated with this for a long, long time. So we cannot just say, don't get angry and then say, okay, I'll not get angry from today. No, it will not happen like that. But what you need to see is that whatever be the past historical background, acknowledge that we get angry. And then see its usefulness or destructiveness, honestly, just like an unbiased researcher. And then when you find it's not good, it deprived my sleep, it deprived my appetite and whatever, then goes, yeah, it's not good. Then gradually, you can see the advantages of patience and disadvantages of anger. And then gradually you take steps and then anger will be less and less like. So that's why in Buddhism we say there is no push button enlightenment. एक बटन दबा दिया, बुद्ध भगवान बन गया, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. It takes time. Okay. Yeah.
Yesterday we were speaking about the eye and then separate from the mind and body.
Yeah.
And then it's that I designate that's what you're feeling. And but it's always the eyes and the illusion, like the they cannot exist or only exist designated.
Illusion. If you say I is an illusion, then you have to say everything is an illusion. You can say that, but not in the sense they don't exist. Right? The way they exist, the way we perceive, there is a big gap, big disharmony. It's illusion because when you try to locate, where is the I? You peel one after another, try to locate. So that you gradually reach a time when you say, here is the naughty I call it. No. This is exactly what the scientists are doing. To pinpoint this fundamental building block, particle, which is a fundamental building block. The physicists, at the time of Newton and so forth, they really were trying to see the more subtle particle, more subtle particle, more subtle particle. And through this, they wanted to pinpoint and say, I found it. This is the subtlest building block particle. Have they found it? No. Newton could not find it. Einstein could not find it. Modern quantum mechanics are not finding it. They thought they found, then suddenly it changes into wave. They thought this is a wave, changes into particle, wave particle duality. So they are not sure. So therefore they are saying, when you go to the very subtle level, the behavior of phenomena at very certain level is totally different from what we think. That's what the scientists are saying. So this is something like Buddhists also more or less saying that, things are not like as we think. Things are not exactly as they appear. So there is some similarity. Okay. Yeah, maybe that one. Yeah.
You talked before about anger.
Mm.
It's no push button, and you just need to realize it's not good for you. But it's a correlation. It's an emotion that you want it to be. You want to make something when it's happening. And you need to fight it. But if something, there is also emotions that when they appear, you don't want them to be, you don't want them to appear like sadness, anxious, anxiety, generally depressed. When it's appears, it feels like God give it to you and you don't have now think of it. What does the Buddhism have to say?
I tell you a story. I think 3 years back, a group of Iranians came to Dharamsala. I think around 50, 60, mostly CEOs. So I don't know who told, somebody must have suggested my name. So they invited me to give a half day to this teaching to them. They are all very liberal, educated group. So then during the question answer hour, there was one Iranian guy who said, Geshe Lhakdor, your talk is very good, but I'm very angry man. Whenever something nasty happens, I just use my fist. What do you say? That's his question. So I told him, continue. Continue. You don't need teaching. You continue, you'll see how good it is. You keep on fighting. Someday, sooner or later, you'll get a problem, big problem. In Tibet, there's a story. In some areas in Tibet, people are very fond of fighting. And parents encourage people to fight. Some areas in Tibet, everybody has a knife, you see. So they go and knife somebody, then parents say, good. Any problem, we are behind you. You see? So there was this young guy who always fights, knifes somebody. He said, I knifed somebody. Nobody can challenge me. There is no mother, son in this world who can fight me. Then after a few days, he will knife somebody. Then the parents said, be careful. One day you will meet the real mother's son. Then he knifed somebody and said, no, I didn't meet any mother's son. Mike Lal bolte hain na hum log Mike Lal. Kuch koi nahi mila. And one day he met somebody, that other person, before he knives that other person, this other person knives him, and all his internal organs just came out. And then he came, today I met the real mother's son. So like that, you see. So like that. So as you mentioned, and also somebody asked the other day that these emotions are basically necessary. Yes, to some extent, short extent. But for the long run, it is not good. So the only way to stop it is through gradual understanding that we can listen it. Because the key question you are asking and others are asking is, can we live in this world without anger? Yes. Can we live in this world without attachment? Yes. This answer is important because normally we think in this world without anger I can't live, without attachment I can't live. The Buddhist answer is no, we can live. They are not only equal but much more powerful positive emotions which will help you. Right? Lunchtime. Thank you.